Okay, and action. So yeah, basically welcome back to the channel. It's been a long time. My name is Shinobi. I am a full-time artist based in Michigan, and yeah, I do that.
It's showtime. Fantastic.
It's showtime.
I am a full-time oil painter. I am a student also as well. It's kind of weird. It's a weird mix-up, but I'm trying to make long-form content, so I'm here on YouTube to just kind of share my process and my journey. I love watching my videos more than most people do. You know, then again, most content creators probably might say that. Enough talking. I just finished this piece recently. It's called The Gathering of Self, or Gathering of the Self. Either way really works, but yeah, this took 2 weeks to finish. It is for AXAart prize. It's a competition in the US. Only people eligible are undergrads and graduates. It's my last year as an undergrad, so I want to try a place, if I don't even at least, win. The top 2 win prizes, but like the top 20 get exhibited, so at the very least, exhibition. I applied last year with my other piece, High Tide. Didn't get nothing. I was kind of upset because I was proud of that piece and it kind of went viral multiple times that year, but yeah, I'm just gonna update you guys on what's been going on so far, what I've learned, and how I possibly see myself implementing that into like videos and teaching people some things, because I'm not about doing challenges and all that stuff, so it's gonna be very serious over here. We're gonna do strictly like traditional oil paintings and acrylic paintings and drawing. I might do abstract every now and then to like, explore some ideas, but never say never, you know what I mean? Be a very lo-fi, just art and vibes. Yeah, love. Let's get into the main video and I'll just do a voiceover after this one. The first part of my process, which I unfortunately couldn't, I didn't get on my actual camera because my battery was dead. So this is some TikTok live footage. Is a wash with some burnt sienna and alizarin crimson, and then I do a rough outline of the figures I'm gonna draw later and get some detail of the clouds. And then after that's dry, then I can actually go on and start drawing the underpainting. I say drawing because it's kind of like a drawing, because I'm just using one value. It's more like, it's kind of akin to doing a charcoal drawing, or like a reverse charcoal drawing, if you can think about that. So you want to think about values and shapes and then refine those. And because you're really working with just one color and some spirit, you can kind of just erase your mistakes where you make them. That way it's not so pressuring, it's kind of relaxing. It's like, push and pull till you kind of get the values and shapes right. And then when that's dry, you can let that be the base for your glazing later on. Yeah, mostly done with underpainting right now. Only thing really left to do is this figure right here. I need to put him. Well, I need to finish painting him off in the background, so like this isn't just an empty gap. I'll pause right there because I got a message that came in that just said, "We're ready. We're gonna pay. How do you make a payment?" That's the best kind of message. I can't lie. But wait, I'm not ready to do work, so they need to relax. And can you send me frame size and pick for reference, or price for reference? Hey yo, mi nego, can you chill out? You're offering money, but I need to rest. I need sleep. I ain't slept in 2 months, bro. It's one after the other. I want to do some personal work for some time, you know what I mean? yeah, I need to finish a lot of details. But you know what's the good thing now, right? Because I've got all of this here, I could just go straight into like the glazing and just adding color to it. But I like to have fun with my shadows, so I can now just basically go in and just, I guess, define them and render them out a bit more. Like there's a lot of them I just kind of left half finished anyways, because you know I was a bit hesitant to like finalize them at the time. But yeah, I am not sure about the size of this arm. It's looking a bit mazzoline right now because I'm comparing it to this arm in the front, and this one's behind it, so it should be slightly smaller. I mean, it is just a bit smaller, but I don't think small enough for my liking. Or I might just be picky. We'll see. But yeah, enough said, enough talking. I'm gonna get back into the painting. So after I went ahead and finished that there, all that was left next was the glazing, which I think I started the same day. I started with a sky and did some blue glaze. And I really kind of perfected my glazing technique over the last 2 years, because I took some time, you know, practicing on some personal pieces, like the Rihanna one here. You can see how like the skin really starts to pop when you add the color to it. And I can always go back to that as a reference for like what the glazing should look like when it's done properly. And here we have High Tide, the piece I said, you know, didn't win last year, but it's okay. I learned a lot from it actually. I was working with red lighting, so it was a bit different than the normal glazing. And the last but not least, which I didn't get on my film camera, was High Rise, where I really learned how to like control lighting and like leave parts of the underpainting showing through to get, you know, that lighting effect, that striking light effect. And that's really why you can kind of see me doing here with the clouds in the sky. I don't really do a lot of work on that right side, and I work kind of very loosely in the clouds also. I was considering kind of going tight on them, but you know, there didn't need to be that much detail there. So here you can see me going in and putting in the highlights in white for where I'm gonna glaze over on the skin later. You're gonna see me go ahead and pretty much glaze a color on everything before I do the skin first. And in the shadows, I'm trying to work in some purples, and it's kind of a push and pull between the purples and the yellow ochre to like get that ambient occlusion in the shadows. You don't want your shadows to be black. You don't want them to be, you know, any solid color. You kind of just want them to reflect either the lighting or the, you know, the light in the sky or the sun. You know what I mean? So we have the blue light from the sky reflecting in the shadows, mixing with the reddish side light of the sand and the sun, and you know, that gives it that purple glow. And if you look outside too, you can see how your shadows are purple sometimes. And I'm gonna try to do the same thing with the fabric next. You can see me mixing my blue here. There's no real point in showing you my palette because it's really messy. It's really all just a guessing game. It's trial and error. You just try a color and see if it works and do more of that. And the blue was working for me. I was trying my best to match it to the shadows. I already did. And of course you have to take a picture to really compare it, really, because it's kind of like stepping back, but there's only so much you can do. And I had been sitting down for quite a long time too, so you know. And this is what glazing actually looks like in real time. You definitely need a paper towel next to you, because you're gonna be picking up a lot of paint, and you know, just trying to carve back into the lines you make and the shapes you make. Really, I think it was at this point I realized that I needed another shadow as well, to like kind of represent the cast shadow from one of the poles that's off canvas, but we'll probably won't see that till much later in. But here I'm just gonna go in and do a glaze and everything else. I do a few skin glazes before we get to the final skin color, by the way, so you can see how greenish it looks here and how pinkish these guys look. That's different layers on each of them there. I'm gonna explain a bit of that, in a bit. But so I do a layer of sap green and really I do a layer of viridian green, and then another layer of alizarin crimson over that to, basically give it an undertone that's rich and not just pure brown. They end up mixing back to a brown in the end, but yeah, it lays like a pinkish undertone at first, and then I'm gonna finish that with a final layer of burnt sienna and a bit more Van Dyke brown, and just darken the whole thing up. I made a few discoveries while painting this, and how like I could darken my shadows without actually darkening them yet. I could just add a bit more green in my undertone, and I think you see me go through that in a second now, as I just go over that layer real quick. So quick little discovery moment here. I guess not really discovery, but anyways, I was glazing the skin yesterday to get the undertone. So I did a glaze of green, and then over that did some pink with, I think it's what, I never say it right, alizarin crimson. And ignore the bonnet right now, it's just kind of working for me, bro. But then after I finished, I realized when they all dried, this ended up looking a lot darker than this figure here, making it feel like they weren't really in the same, lighting situation, like, at least in the shadows, So what I realized was, the more green I add to it, as in maybe the more opaque the green is, or just do a close-up, the more green I add to it, darker I can end up getting it, right? And so I'm just gonna go back in there and not reglaze the whole thing, but it's my strategy right now. I'm gonna go back and do some greens for this character here, finish off the dark areas, like over here and then in the face. And while that's drying, I can get started with the last layer of skin for the other three, because they're pretty much ready. I mean, I hope so, at least. You can see me finishing off on some of the skin layers for the other characters there, and it was really surprising seeing how close this looked to like the initial sketch and drawing I did in charcoal. Once I took a picture and like checked the values in black and white. I always do like a drawing before I do my personal paintings, just so I have a reference for all the extra aspects to the paintings I do, because I don't always just do strictly realistic paintings. I like to add a bit of surrealism to it, so that's why I figure out in a sketch and then the developed drawing stage. And yeah, I think that's it. We're just gonna show you guys some final shots. It's not fully dry yet, but it's dry enough to take some nice videos, so here you go. Okay, I think that's it for this video. I hope it wasn't too long. I tried to keep it under 15 minutes, under 20 minutes probably I should say. And yeah, hopefully the next video might be a commission piece. I couldn't show you the first one I did this year, you know, just because there's just them moments where you have to be secret with stuff and that. But no fret, hopefully the next one is a commission. I got one lined up, but if it doesn't fall through, that's okay. I'll do a portrait, you know, I'll get her some cardboard, do some quick acrylic portraits and have some fun with that, because why not? But yeah, that's it. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe, and leave a comment, maybe, you know. Share with some friends if you got artist friends. Appreciate the love in it. But yeah, much love, guys. See you in the next video. Deuces. Remember, showtime. It's always showtime. Make put my rings on the whole time. Cut. School to the day.
It's showtime.